tell my wife about it. I just wanted to ask you about your correctional officers. Many of them are subject to repeated violent encounters. What are your physical readiness? How do they compare, say, to the military?
I got picked up, but it's the truth.
I kind of get upset when I see all these guys who look bigger than me, 30 years younger.
Well, I have that same concern, and I mean, we're plodding through some of the reforms, but we have an academy. You've got to pass a physical test to be, first of all, hired, and you have to pass it to be going to the academy. After that, I can't speak to what we have for exact standards, because I agree with you, I think it's a little lax, but you're right about one thing, just to comment on it. I want to be clear about this. Correctional officers, that is a very difficult job, and you're dealing with inmates on a moment by basis. It's critical to have the people that can. It's a really difficult job, and a job that requires a lot of split-second timing and decision-making. So don't let anybody fool you into thinking anybody can be a correctional officer and it's an easy job. It is not. And I assure you, if you ever come up here for a tour sometime and you walk the blocks with me, you'll never forget it, and you'll never want to go back. But I agree, and I'm working very hard. That's part of where I'm going when I talk about the morale. I need people to be proud of the fact they work there. I've got to demonstrate that from the top on down. Every person I bring in, it knows I've brought in very fewest ever brought in, probably 3 or 4 people. I hired an attorney. I terminated the contract with the existing attorney, $15,000 a month, because he was a friend of the former sheriff. I terminated that contract on day 1. Yeah, you don't have to make fun of it. And I just hired my own general counsel started on February 14th, and you know what? I can guarantee you as I stand here today, he's already saved us probably $25,000 to $50,000, and within a year he'll save us $100,000. It's so easy. You bring in someone in-house, and you bring in someone who's talented, who's got ability, and you pay him a salary, and you don't pay some lawyers by the hour to deal with you, and frankly charge us last year over $300,000 in legal fees. It's just ridiculous. So I tell everyone, whether it be my general counsel or my chief of staff, whatever, we are being watched. We have to work twice as hard as everybody else. We have to be ethical twice as much as anybody else. And I'm trying to demonstrate that. And when I did those first promotions, as I talked about, 2 captains, these people were outstanding. They presented well. They were articulate. They understood the policies. They understood people. One guy had not taken a sick day in over 20 years. And you know what he'd done? He donated them to vacation days now. Not sick days, vacation days. And he'd given them to people who ran out of time or had a family crisis. That's the kind of people I'm looking to promote around there, who are hardworking, dedicated. And I think if we keep going, we can get to the presentation, the physical fitness, and the wearing uniform with pride. I'm not saying not everybody does, many do, but it's a good observation. The only thing I got to do, and I'm just to step back on you on that one, is that I was starting to get in. My days were crazy. 12, 15 hours. People hated to see me come because they knew I was going to ask them about 500 questions. And that's the one thing I've noticed in that place. People know they don't want to see me because they're hiding. So a lot of people hiding around there, and I'm finding them. And I tell you, it's fun when I find them. But that's the point. So I mean, you're right, and I'm working on it. But you know what I found? I can't tackle every single problem. I haven't even been in 3 months yet, or 3 months, and I'm already feeling like I've been there 3 years. And not in a bad way, in a good way, that we've accomplished so much, we're working so hard. But then I got to take a step back and say, well, you know, I'll get there. I will get there, and when my time is said and done, we're going to have a force there that looks, acts, and plays the part 100%. And we're getting there, one day at a time. You know,
it's going to be harder to find them if they're skinny, isn't it?
Not necessarily. I'm tall. You find me.
They hope they're tall.
Yeah, exactly.
They can run faster. Once again, Lew, great to see you. Charlie already stole my thunder on that, so I'll leave that alone. But my question, you touched a little bit on the backlog in the courts currently right now. Mm-hmm. One of our basic rights is right to a speedy trial. What's going on?
Well, that's a theory, but unfortunately you don't really have it. You have the right to a bail hearing on a speed basis, so you've got a chance to, I guess the justice system provides basic tenets of security under the Constitution. But beyond that, I mean, there's an underfunded court system in some ways, there's a backlog, certain counties are better than others, with all these pre-trial motions, and when someone's charged with murder, and the amount of time it takes for delays, and people call in sick, or the attorney needs an extension, and I'm shocked to hear it too. all I can tell you is we're working hard to work with all the players. I've sat down with the DA already a number of occasions. We're trying to figure ways we can all, I'll give you an example. I didn't even talk about this. I just love this stuff. Here's one for you. How about this cost saver? Can you imagine this wasn't done? I became aware of the fact that, in parts of the country like Texas, they conduct entire trials with what do they call it, telecommunications. You have somebody in a jail, they're on a television screen, they go to the court. We do entire trials in parts of the country. We don't even do bail hearings. We have no televisions at the jail that communicate with the courts. So every inmate that needs to go have anything from a bail hearing, bail review, minimal, pre-trial memo that's filed or a hearing, they have to get transported at your cost to and from the courts in these vans that run up hundreds of thousands of miles. Well, you know what I've sat down? I've sat down with Chief Judge Agnes and the Worcester Superior Court, and I have finally started getting on the page where we are this close, and I mean we're about to sign the agreement, to have communications done teleprompters and things, where we actually now have communication that way. We're going to save hundreds of thousands of dollars, thousands of commuting time, and stop the nonsense and do it the right way. So there's one example of ways we're going to try to help cut down the court costs and things, and the court time, by doing things immediately when we want to do it that remote way. So there's a good way to do it. The other thing is, this is another interesting thing that I didn't know about, and I just want to talk to you about quickly. There's these things called renditions, okay? If we have someone, I was a prosecutor who used to do these a lot. But if you have an outstanding, let's say you have a warrant in Massachusetts, you were arrested for a certain case, and you fled to another state, and you were found guilty of a crime there, and you're incarcerated, they do these things called renditions, where the DA's office will find out they're there, they'll have a rendition, and our office, the Sheriff's Department in Worcester County, the only one that does this, by the way, the rest are done by the state police, they actually send us, and we go get a plane, jump on a plane, send 2 correctional officers out to Colorado or Puerto Rico or Florida, and we get somebody, we transport them back, we bring them to court, and guess what we're finding? Half the time they come back, and the judge and the DA say, dismissed. What? I'm not kidding, dismissed, and they send them back. Or, God forbid, we have people who we actually bring here who have 18 years left in their sentence in North Carolina. They were some of our worst inmates. We had a guy last week, it was even in the paper, the guy tried to bite his arm off, and that's not funny, by the way, but he tried to bite his arm off, he's mentally deranged. We got him back here now, costing us thousands of dollars. Now, I'll tell you why. Do you know that every inmate that comes into the Worcester County House of Correction is in any correctional facility in Massachusetts? We are responsible for their health care.
They get better health coverage than we do.
Some of them get better health care coverage than we do, and we are responsible. So it's ridiculous. There are people that actually get arrested because they need dialysis treatment, and they get it in the County House of Correction. They don't get it when they're outside. So there's an example, but what I'm trying to tell you, this is another area I'm looking to save money. I'm setting up a meeting with the DA's office. I want to talk about renditions. Do we need to do all these? Why are we doing them? We've got to revisit this. These are the kind of things that you would say in 10 minutes. Doesn't make any sense. And unfortunately, I see these and I'm not exaggerating, every single day. I ask questions, don't make sense. Why are we doing this way? Back to that famous,
way we've always done it.
well, nobody ever asked us about this. And I'm just telling you, this is what I'm doing, it's what you expect me to do, but that's just an answer to that, Jim, as far as, things we can do and the trial situation. I'm just trying to find ways to get those people out of the court.